If you're doing property management and real estate, you have a tenant that calls you for a broken dishwasher. And then at the same time, you have somebody saying like, hey, I want you to list my home for sale. Are you going to go help this guy for a $200 repair, or you're going to go for that $20,000 commission?
Obviously.
I don't see how you could make that choice. Our goal was to have realtors be our friends, not our competitors.
Smart.
And you know, in Idaho, you don't have to be a licensed realtor to be a property manager. I'm not like a sales guy. Like I'm like a relationship person.
Yeah.
Like that's always kind of how I've been. That definitely prepared me for like my entire life with what I'm doing. It's like,
no kidding.
I always say we're basically a maintenance company that also collects rent.
Yes, I think that's well said. Hey guys, welcome back to More Than a Mortgage. This is a podcast where we have the opportunity to hear the stories of folks in our industry. I'm your host, Gavin Sessions, and today I have the absolute pleasure of sitting down with a guy that is really a funny guy. He's a guy I've met only once before, and the story of how we met hopefully comes out here in the podcast episode today. But it's Kyle Frederickson, and Kyle owns a property management company here locally. Kyle's a great guy. I'm excited for him to sit down. I'm really grateful that he gave us the time, and we're excited to hear his story. Hey, Kyle, welcome, man.
I appreciate you having me. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this conversation. And
me too.
If I recall correctly, I think you found us on Instagram probably because of content we created in this studio.
Yes, I saw that you had Brandon Wood on here.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, he was our realtor when we moved here originally. And I was like, oh, if Brandon can do it, I can do it.
Heck yeah. Yeah. So you are our first person that has solicited us to say, hey, I love your podcast. Can I come on it? And that's a huge honor. And so we'll make that public. If somebody else was to say that to us, we'd probably feel the same honor and would love to have you on. So
yeah. And it seemed really natural. And I'm not really one for public speaking.
Yeah.
So when I saw kind of what you were doing, I was like, okay, I could do this type of format. I don't want to go up there and do like a speech in front of 1,000 people. This is more my style.
I love it.
So
you mentioned Brandon Wood. How do you know him?
So when we were moving here in 2020, we had a friend who used them as a realtor, and they had a great experience with him. And he was down to earth, humble, and just a great guy. And we were actually going to be buying sight unseen because my wife was pregnant and we couldn't really fly at that time. So I needed somebody that I could trust, and Brandon was that guy for sure.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. Where'd you guys come from?
So we came from Northern California. From San Jose.
You're our first guest that's ever come from California.
You guys probably haven't heard of California before.
I've never even heard of the state.
It's just a couple states over and down. We were the first to do it. But yeah, it was one of those things where we, it just sort of lost the family experience there. We couldn't let our kids go outside and ride their bike around the block because we were worried about it. And then we came here in 2019 just for fun because my now business partner was thinking about moving because California also makes it really hard to be a business owner. And we came to visit, and I immediately fell in love. It was one of those things where I saw kids outside, even went on a hike, and some 12-year-old was like, oh, I hope you have a good day. And my wife and I were like, what's wrong with this kid? Why is he talking to me? It just felt like how I grew up, like in the 90s. It was like kids outside playing, riding bikes, hiking, playing football at the park. And nobody was concerned. So we knew we wanted to move.
That's rad. What month did you guys visit?
So we came here in November of 2019.
Okay.
So
not probably the greatest weather, but probably fine.
And honestly, growing up in California, the weather is kind of perfect all the time.
Yeah.
And we wanted to experience maybe Idaho before we decided to move. Like we got to experience the winter, right? Mm-hmm. And so my wife and I had decided to move, not knowing that our friends wanted to move as well. Okay. And we were kind of inviting them over for dinner to have a discussion and be like, hey, I think that we're going to need to move.
Yeah.
And we have them over and we tell them hey, by the way, we came here to tell you they're pregnant. We're no, nobody's pregnant. But I think we're going to have to move to Idaho. And they're like, we want to move. We're like, no way. You want to move also?
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah. And then, so it was just a weird by chance conversation. We started having some wine. We booked flights that night for 2 days later to come here.
Cool.
And we got on a plane and
both families.
That's awesome. And just kind of came here for 3 or 4 days and loved it. We stayed in the kind of southeast Boise. Mm-hmm. And we were watching a show called Boise Boys.
Yeah.
On HGTV. And we stayed in their Airbnb that they remodeled on that show.
Oh, how funny.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't have known that ahead of time, right?
No, it was just super off the cuff.
So you stayed in an Airbnb that they remodeled that you actually saw?
We saw it. And I was like, that's a cool spot. And we were just watching it. And then that night I'm like, I know where we can stay. And we checked and it was actually available.
Oh, okay. So you were able to actually go book that specific property.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. That would make sense. Cause I think sometimes, but you don't know that they don't give you the address, right? Is that what it is?
No. But like you can kind of, there's some there's that big castle house on that street on Warm Springs.
Yep.
And so we just started kind of like searched in the radius around there and we're able to find that house.
Okay.
And there's like some unique artwork from like a local artist. I can't remember the name, but on the walls. And that's what we did.
Did you watch HGTV much before that?
Yeah. My wife is an interior design major from San Jose State.
So is mine.
Yeah. And
but
so,
not from San Jose State.
Yeah. And so we're constantly, watching those fixer upper shows and all that stuff and changing the look of our house, several times a year.
Yeah. If you, my wife and I actually recorded a podcast episode. She interviewed me and it's not out yet.
Yeah.
But part of our story and why I'm in real estate, or I guess I'm a mortgage broker, of course, but how I got into this industry was heavily influenced by Saturday mornings watching HGTV.
Yeah. I mean, they make it look very easy, right? It's always like some carpet that they rip up and there's like this beautiful wood floor underneath. Of course, never the case.
Chip and Joanna Gaines, right?
Yeah, we did that from our old house and we ripped up the floor and there was 3 layers of vinyl. So
good.
Not quite the same reveal.
Yeah, that's a little harder to get rid of.
Yeah. So you basically have a flathead shovel and just chip away.
That's cool. Okay, so you moved up here with another family.
Yep.
Did you guys move near each other?
Yeah. So we actually moved. We actually moved first. We actually had 4 groups of friends move here within a year of each other from our neighborhood in Morgan Hill, California.
Oh my gosh.
And so we had a group of friends move here first. And then we came 6 months later after our third daughter was born.
Okay.
Just because we have home births. And so my wife wanted to use her midwife. And we're like, okay, after the first like kind of check, the postpartum 6 week, we're going to leave. And so we moved when our third child was born 6 weeks later. And
nice.
It took her like 20 hours to get here because she had to stop all the time.
Yep.
Yeah. And then my business partner, who was just a friend at the time.
Yeah.
They moved, I think, about 3 or 4 months after us.
Okay.
So yeah, it's a wild thing. And, he had a property management company in the Bay Area.
Okay.
And sold that. And, it's one of those things like when you sit around with friends and you always talk about business ideas and like, oh, it'd be great to do this. And I had a totally different career coming here. And then, he sold his property management company and he was just going to do consulting for property managers. And he's like, I'm just, he sold his company, got good money. I'm just going to sit back and help other property management companies grow. And so he's like, hey, you got a lot of window time for your job. I was doing outside sales. He's like, can you call some property management companies and just kind of gauge interest on, if consulting would be something that they look at. He's like, you're a sales guy. You have no problem calling people. Here, do it,
Why didn't he do it himself?
It's just not his style. He's like the ops guy. Okay. So like, he's like spreadsheets, organization. Like
and you weren't working or partners at this time.
No.
You weren't working for him at this time.
No, just kind of
just helping out a buddy.
Like we'd been friends, our kids were born 4 months apart.
Yeah.
We met in a birthing class.
Okay.
And so, yeah, I was like, yeah, I'll help you out. Like I'll help my buddy grow his business,
Yeah.
And so I called, me and his assistant called about 65 property management companies.
Oh my gosh.
And just, a couple weeks later, he's like, all right, how'd it go? I'm like, well, there's a little bit of an issue. He's like, what? I'm like, nobody picks up the phone.
Oh.
And he's like, okay, that's kind of what I thought might happen. So I think we need to start a property management company here.
Because there was an opportunity.
Because
basically,
there was like,
you'll answer the phone.
Right.
Crazy.
And I was like, yeah, you should definitely do that. He's like, no, you're going to do it with me. And
you were already living here at this time?
Living here, full career, like doing
all Did you bring your job with you?
Yeah. And I was flying back and forth between growing a new territory in Idaho and having my old business in California.
And what was your career before?
I was in manufacturing, selling cutting tools for machine shops. So anything that cuts metal, I was selling.
Okay.
So yeah, so we basically
like laser cutters and stuff like that.
More like the tools. So like drills, end mills, tools for threading, things like that.
Okay.
And so he's like, you can help me just with business development. And I'm like, all right, well, I can probably do that like in between or on the weekends, hustle. Side hustle, right?
Yeah.
And so it just sort of kind of snowballed from there. It got pretty busy pretty quick. Our goal was to have realtors be our friends, not our competitors.
Smart.
And in Idaho, you don't have to be a licensed realtor to be a property manager.
And that's not true in all states, right?
Right. California, you have to be a realtor. You have to have your real estate license. And so with that, we're like, okay, well, we're not going to get our real estate license because If we're just a 2-man or 3-man operation and I'm having to get one client at a time, it's going to be a super slow roll. But if I go speak with realtors, tell them like, hey, your investors are safe with us because if they want to buy a property 2, 3, 5 years down the road, I'm going to refer them back to you. I'm not going to get my real estate license. Like, your investors are safe with us. And that was kind of like our whole marketing strategy to get started.
Speaking the magic language of reciprocity right there.
Yeah.
I mean, who doesn't want a referral partner that actually will refer back?
Right. Last year, we referred back 26 sales.
Oh, that's awesome.
Everyone's like, why don't you get your real estate license? I'm like, well, where would my clients come from?
Yeah. You'd be stealing them from
You'd
all
be stealing.
your partners.
Like, hey, Mr. Real estate agent, you have a great investor. Why don't you have him come over with me for a few years?
Yeah.
I'll take care of him for you. It's like nobody would ever want to do that.
No, you'd burn a couple of bridges and you'd be known.
100%. And this town is small,
Yeah.
Reputation is everything.
Cool. I like that. So your competitive advantage is we're property management only.
Yeah.
We're not realtor plus property management.
Totally.
It's like we're going to do one thing and do it well.
Right. And it's also, it's kind of hard. It's like the way I look at it is if you're doing property management and real estate, you have a tenant that calls you for a broken dishwasher. And then at the same time, you have somebody saying like, hey, I want you to list my home for sale. Are you going to go help this guy for a $200 repair, or you're going to go for that $20,000 commission?
Obviously.
I don't see how you could make that choice.
It's almost like double ending a deal as an agent, right? It's
right.
really tricky to actually be able to have both people's best interest
100%
at the same time.
Yeah.
Can't really do it.
Right.
Now, can you figure out a way to tote the center line? Probably.
I'm sure.
And a lot of agents do.
Yeah. I mean, if you have the name, and you could probably manage your own. If you're bringing in enough business to where you can just manage your clients only, sure. But, I don't see any other way to do it. And there's so many moving parts to property management too. I always say we're basically a maintenance company that also collects rent.
Yes, I think that's well said. I had to think about that for a quick second.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Okay, cool. So growing up in Morgan Hill, you said?
Yeah. The Bay Area, San Jose, Morgan Hill. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Did you ever think as a kid that you'd ever end up in property management?
No, definitely wasn't the road that I was thinking. I don't know if anybody does.
You don't know any elementary school kids that be like, I want to be a property manager when I grow up.
Yeah, it's like astronaut, NASCAR driver, property manager. That's never been said, guaranteed.
Occasionally we've heard of like one of our guests did say, actually at 18, I did want to become a realtor, but that's not like, 10, 12 years old.
Right. Yeah. He's probably a really successful realtor now.
She is. And
yeah.
And the reality is I think property management or a mortgage broker is far less sexy than that, right?
Yeah.
I don't know anybody that wanted to do what I'm doing or wanted to do what you're doing when they were, aspiring and young. And
yeah, totally. And it's one of those things too, you don't really realize until later, but everybody who I knew who was successful had their toe in real estate somehow, Okay. Like there were some people who, play the stock market, do all that stuff that do super well.
Yeah.
But the ones who took it to that next level, they're like, oh yeah, I have 5 rentals. I have 10 rentals. And you're like, there has to be something to this. And I've always kind of been in real estate myself, just buying, homes that we were living in, but each time trying to make the right move to step up to the next level from there. And so it's always in the back of my head that I was going to do something in real estate, whether it was just for myself or for somebody else. And then, you talked about like not being sexy.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like my vibe. I've like, even like when I, playing in bands growing up, I was the drummer. Like I was in the background, like nobody really knew who I was or whatever.
Yeah.
But like, it was important, but it's just kind of going on in the background. And I think that's like property management. Like the realtor is like the front man.
Yeah.
And then, mortgage lending, you're probably the bass player. Just like, you're like, it's really important. And
be the supporting like lead guitarist,
but you need it.
Yeah.
And if it's, you like, you might not know it's there, but if it's not there, you definitely notice it.
Yeah.
And then the drummer is just sort of like, you're like, yeah, that guy's like having fun back there and just handling.
The drummer's got to keep the beat.
Right. But it's still kind of the background. Like there's no front man except for like Phil Collins. That's a drummer.
Wow. Good pull. That's true. That's really rare.
That's the only one I could think of. Right?
Yeah. Do you still drum?
Yeah. Still drum. Yeah. And my kids are into music. So,
that's cool.
It's having a startup business is taken away a little bit from that because usually the days are long. And by the time I get home, I just want to spend time with family. But now the kids are getting into it. And so it makes it easier because I can be like, all right, family band upstairs. Like we have a detached garage with a studio above it.
Okay.
And so we try to do like little family jam sessions once in a while.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's like my dream.
Do you play anything besides drums?
Yeah, I play guitar also.
Okay.
I played drums. I started playing drums when I was about 9.
Oh, yeah.
And then my freshman year of high school, I broke my leg.
Okay.
And I had
to play drums if you've got.
Yeah, and I broke my right leg. So it's like the one that is
kick.
like the kick drum.
Yeah.
I was making fun of my friend who was a rollerblader, and I was like, this is easy. And then immediately broke my leg. Instant karma. So
like, how immediately are we talking?
Well, I'm talking like we went into downtown Capitola, which is like a small little beach town.
Uh-huh.
And I was on like a Razor scooter, not that much cooler. And he was on his rollerblades, like doing some like silly tricks or whatever. And I was like, let me try that. Like, you look ridiculous. Like, let me do that. And like within like 10 minutes, I hit like a root went under the sidewalk, and I went to go jump it. And I tried to do like the spin move, and I landed, and I didn't know how to stop my momentum. And I just kept on turning with my right foot planted, and it snapped my shin bone and the bone behind it just in half.
Both of
compound
the lower leg bones?
Yeah.
Oh, through the skin.
Yeah. And so I was like, oh no, like your leg totally goes numb. And I'm like laying there. I'm like, oh my gosh, my dad is going to kill me.
How old were you?
14.
Oh, dang.
And I just made varsity baseball.
Well,
and it was like right there. And yeah, I was like, my dad's going to be so mad. And the ambulance came to get us because there's no cell phones. Yeah. I had a pager, which does nothing in an emergency. Yeah. So some like lady at a local shop like came over, was like, what's wrong? And I was like, I think my leg's broken. And my jeans were like, like it was obviously broken. My leg was facing the other direction. And so they came to, the ambulance came, grabbed me, and they're like, all right, we're going to have to cut off this boot. And I was like, no, those are like $500 rollerblades. Just take it off. My leg's already broken. Yeah. And they like took it off. And I get to I'm at the hospital, and my dad walks in, and he's like shaking his head. Like, I know, I messed up. Oh. And so I started playing guitar because of that. Because I couldn't get behind a drum set.
Man. So surgery, I'm sure.
Yeah. Surgery to realign it, all that stuff. But like when you're 14, they don't do plates or anything because
they didn't do screws?
No, because I was only 14, and I think I was like 5'9", 5'10".
Okay.
And they're like, you have so much room in your growth plates. We can't do screws, or else we're going to have to like take them in and out constantly. And so they just realigned it and said like, put a full leg cast. And they're like, do not move for 4 months.
4 months?
Yeah.
If they would have been able to do pins, it would have been way faster.
It would have been way faster. Yeah.
Oh,
and so
man.
They had to change my cast every 3 weeks. So when I was done with the 4 months, I had grown like 3 inches. And so they had to change, like every once, like I'd wake up one morning in the cast, I'm like, this feels really tight.
This was like after freshman year or before freshman year?
It was during freshman year.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And so they had to replace my cast every few weeks because I was growing. I was like mid-growth spurt.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's a crazy story.
But that's why I play guitar. And then like I got serious with music then. And that's how I ended up like meeting my wife, like, 10 years later.
Okay.
Was because of music.
What's your wife's name?
Brianna. Yeah.
That's awesome. How'd you meet her?
So my band was playing at a bar.
Yeah.
She wasn't going there to see me or anything.
Did you ever used to watch Parks and Rec?
Oh, yeah.
Mouse Rat? Was that
Mouse
your band?
Rat? Yeah, basically. Yeah. I was Chris Pratt for sure. But yeah, she was there with her girlfriends, and like we ended up like dancing that night because she saw, my wife is tall. She's 5'10", and she saw me stand up, I guess, after we're done playing. And she's like, oh, that guy's tall. And then my bass player, we were out there like dancing in the crowd after we played. And I was like, oh, like she's like really pretty. And he's like, you should talk to her. I was like, oh, I'm good. And he like taps on my shoulder, puts me there. And I'm like, oh, hey, like, you want to go outside? Like, I'm really hot because we had just played for like 2 hours. I'm just sweating in this tiny little bar. Yeah. And we go outside and like talked for like a few hours, and we like went on a date the next night, and then kind of the rest is like history.
That's cool.
Yeah.
How old were you?
22.
Nice.
Yeah.
And how old was she? 22 at the same time?
Yep.
That's cool.
Yeah. It's a wild story. And like find out later, like we lived like less than a mile from each other. Oh. There's like all these things that
didn't go to high school together though?
Nope.
Oh, weird.
Mm-mm.
What was that story?
She just grew up in a different area in Campbell.
Oh,
I was in San Jose.
Oh, I see. So you lived near each other then.
Yeah.
You didn't grow up near each other.
No.
Got it.
Okay. So just kind of a coincidence that we met, and like even the bouncer the night that she went there, they were charging covers because we were playing, and they tried to charge like this group of 4 girls a cover, and they were just going to leave and go somewhere else. And he's like, oh, you know what? Just come in. Oh, I'm like, oh, if this bouncer would have like said like, hey, it's $10. Like they probably would have gone somewhere else.
Yeah.
Just things happen for a reason,
Yeah.
I always like joke too. I'm like, the night that we met, if I was like, hey, we should have 4 kids move to Idaho, what would you have done? She's like, ran full speed So I was like, good, you know, because it's like silly to like look back at
Yeah.
those times and realize like where you ended up.
She was probably a recent college graduate at that point, or
Yeah.
still in school?
She had one more year of school left.
Okay.
Yep.
And you said interior design.
Interior design.
And where was she?
San Jose State.
Okay.
Yep.
Got it. Were you a college student at that point, or was that not your track?
That was not my track. You know, I was never a great student. Not like the worst, just like down the middle, like
Yeah.
C student, just enough to like.
Did you give great effort, or was this not your thing? So
It just wasn't my thing. I didn't love it. You know, I started working when I was pretty young, like
Yeah.
just
Where'd you work?
retail jobs, you know, PacSun, like where you have to,
Oh yeah.
you know, everybody walks in, you have to say hi.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like Dutch Bros.
It's like, it's prepping you for sales, you know?
Yeah.
And then, you know, my dad had invented a product when I was young for the manufacturing industry when I was around 10 years old. And he used to make me, during the summer, he'd fill up my backpack with this tool. And he'd say like, all right, call me when your backpack's empty. And I would just go door to door, knocking on doors and walking to machine shops with like these like greasy machinists. And they'd be like, what are you doing here? He's like, oh, I'm like, I have a tool that you need. And they're like, what are you talking about? You're like a child, you know?
Very
And
non-threatening though.
very non-threatening. So they'd always let me in and
Yeah.
I would show them how they could use this. And like, you're right, I do need this. And I would I would have the backpack empty in a few hours. And he's like, my dad would give me like $2 or $3 for each one that I sold.
How much did they sell for?
It was $39.99.
Okay.
And it was like just a socket wrench. And yeah, he's like, I'll give you $3 for every single one you sell.
All right.
And so from when I was age like 10 to age 15, I was doing that during the summers and I'd make like $5,000 a summer
Holy smokes.
as like a kid.
Talk about learning to do sales at a young age.
That's honestly like, I'm not like a sales guy. Like I'm like a relationship person.
Yeah.
Like that's always kind of
Yeah.
how I've been, but that definitely prepared me for like my entire life with what I'm doing. It's like
No kidding.
something which now like you couldn't like drop off a 10-year-old in an industrial park and tell him go door to door. Different time.
Yeah. Thinking about sales, and you had a tool that was valuable to people, and
Yeah.
the barrier to entry was low, right?
Right.
I mean, it was a kid that was selling it, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, well, I'm gonna be kind to this kid at least, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And you showed him something that was very inexpensive, but probably you said they had to have it.
Solved a massive headache. Yeah. Definitely.
So you had a value prop that worked,
Yeah.
right? And so even now, like in our careers now, I think sales is really challenging if you don't have a very clear value prop.
Right. Yeah. You got to have like your core values aligned and very clear.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, that's super important.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so grew up through high school, whatever.
Yep.
Your dad was in manufacturing.
Yep.
You got a really young education of sales.
Yep.
You've said a couple things so far that a lot of our younger audience, if we have a younger audience, they won't have any clue what we talked about, which is fantastic. That's super rad.
Perfect.
Pagers.
Yeah. Pages. Yeah.
My kid wouldn't know what a pager is, which
No.
is awesome.
Yeah.
And PacSun.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, that's like mall culture.
Oh, 100%. It's like, you know, we were talking about Tim Smith and like pop
Yeah.
punk. I'm like, that's all I listened to working at PacSun for 4 years.
Yeah.
Was just like skate music.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And it's kind of made a comeback, which makes me like happy to
I
a
love
certain
it.
extent, you know?
It's great.
And it's like you know, when you're a kid, your parents listen to the same music. You're like, Mom, Dad, like listen to this new song. And they're like, it sucks. It's not like they used to. And now my kids like show me a song. I'm like, the song's garbage. Listen to the used. Like, this is real music. I'm like, oh, I'm turning into my parents. Like,
Yeah.
same thing. It just,
And we are.
Yeah.
We are turning into our parents, whether we like it or not.
it happens no matter what.
I get slapped in the face constantly, we'll go figuratively slapped in the face constantly because I'm 43. I'll just put it out there, right?
Yeah.
And so my preference in life on certain things is just stronger than it used to be.
Yeah.
Like, and we're, for whatever reason, now that we're a little bit older, we're much more confident to share that preference.
Well, you know, it works. You've been through it.
I guess.
Like, you know, like when your kids like kick back on something, you're like, guys, like that's not how it works, you know, like, or
Right.
that's not accurate.
Right.
And they're like, how do you know? You're like, cause I've been through this. Like,
Yeah.
you know, 4 times your age.
Yes. I just realized that if I'm not careful, I will fast forward 30 years and I'm going to be that 70-something-year-old crotchety guy that's just telling everybody, here's how you should do this because of that's what you should do. And it's like, well, crap, that's not who I want to be.
Yep, totally. I catch myself sometimes with the kids.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, that's wrong. And it's like, oh, like mowing the lawn.
Yeah.
Like we have some land and like a ride-on mower. And I'm watching my son do it and he's just like all over the place. Right.
Yes.
I'm like,
It's the
dude,
worst.
perimeter and then like break into sections. And my wife's like, hey, just like let him do it. Like 3 hours later and like 2 5-gallon tanks of gas. I'm like, okay, so you see how long that took? Now, if you do it this way,
Yeah.
it's better. Like you have to like let them learn at some point. It's just sometimes hard for me, especially to like let go of that.
Well, I'm a control freak. So
Yeah.
It's like, hey, I want you to do it this way.
Right.
And so is your wife a little bit softer spoken and says, hey, let him figure it out?
Yeah.
Would you do it if she didn't have that perspective?
No. She's
come down a little harder.
She's like the calm, collected one.
Yeah.
She homeschools our kids.
Okay.
So
where'd that come from?
My oldest son, who's 11, his first year of kindergarten was supposed to be right during that COVID time.
Yep.
And it was going to be like online school.
Yeah.
And we're like, this doesn't really make sense. Where
Mm-hmm.
he's going to do like drawings with a Zoom teacher, and so it just sort of stemmed from that. And then all this political stuff started happening. We didn't like love where everything was going.
Right.
And we just were like, we're just going to continue this. And if it doesn't make sense at some point, especially being in Idaho, like we always ask our kids like, hey, do you guys want to continue to homeschool or do you want to go to school? And they are like, yeah, no, we want to continue to homeschool. I mean, I look at their life and they get to like sleep when they want, have breakfast when they want, and do their homework throughout the day or whatever.
Yeah.
They're at the point now where they realize that they can get it done in a few hours. And so they just wake up, breakfast, go.
Knock it out.
And then they're, by noon, they're like, oh, my friends don't get out of school for 4 hours. But, there's a lot of homeschool families here. So they have like different activities that they do that they meet weekly.
Yeah.
Kids in the neighborhood that also homeschool. So they have like the ultimate freedom.
Are you guys part of a homeschool co-op?
Yeah. Yep.
Which one?
I can't remember the name off the top of my head. I know the curriculum that she uses is called The Good and the Beautiful. But yeah, they meet weekly on Wednesdays or Fridays and do like a field trip once a month.
Nice.
It's really cool. And the biggest kickback that everybody says with homeschool is like, oh, what about their socialization? I'm like, my kids know how to talk to adults. We take them to restaurants. We go here. Like they have no problem having conversations with people.
Yeah.
And then they meet their homeschool friends and they still have friends in the neighborhood. It's not like they're locked inside and we're just like teaching them stuff, Yeah. They're more social than most kids, to be honest.
Yeah. It's so socially acceptable too at this point to homeschool, especially in our state, in our area.
Totally.
Man, if either my wife or I felt called to that level of effort, I think we'd probably do it. My kids are very social and they like the social element of school, but they see the inefficiencies and they're always complaining about, it's such a long day. Or I'll be like, hey, what'd you do today? And they're like, nothing. The teacher didn't have enough planned or whatever. And then we're like on our computers. We're like, oh my word, this is just such a waste.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and my kids are obsessed with reading. Like my son and daughter read all day.
Where'd they learn that?
My wife is a reader.
Okay, I was going to say, are you a reader?
No. I mean, I'll read stuff. I'll do audiobooks.
So do I.
I started reading a book that one of my clients actually gave me. He's been our client for a few years and he's like, if you're managing my portfolio, I need you to read this book. And I was like, okay, I'll read it. It's called Traction.
Okay.
It's just a book about building a business. And I'm like 50 or 60 pages into it. And I asked my business partner, I'm like, hey, have you read this book? He's like, do you see any similarities with our business? I'm like, yeah, it's identical. He's like, that book is my Bible.
Wow.
And the format of our business is based so much on that book. Setting up core values and doing things like that.
This one?
That's it.
All right. I'm curious if it's on my list. Oh, it's already on my wish list.
It's great.
That's good. So I just need to actually take action. And
I'll probably be done with the book in like 2 years and you can borrow it.
The actual handwritten book?
No, yeah, I have the actual handwritten. I'm going to try and finish it
paperback
in the next. Yeah, but it's kind of fun, I don't know. Like you said, it's like old school, like something about turning a page.
It's very analog.
And I'm much more likely to read it there than if I'm on my phone reading a book, or I guess you could do audiobook if you drive a lot. That would work too.
Yes, I finished a book on audio I do a lot of Audible. And we were driving back from Arizona last week and I finished Good to Great. What am I saying? Give and Take.
Okay.
By Adam Grant. I'd recommend it, I think.
Okay.
It's a little bit long. The intro is amazing. The conclusion or the application part towards the end is really good. I think the middle maybe got a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Adam's not listening to this podcast, so he doesn't need it. I'm sure he won't be offended by my criticism, but I actually listened to that one in the car on the road trip back, and I don't normally do that.
Yeah.
I usually actually walk around my neighborhood and carve out Tuesday morning and Thursday morning, like 30 to 40 to, I don't know, hour, and then grab coffee and walk.
I love that.
And there's something about walking, or on my other days, I'll do like a run or something like that.
Yeah.
And man, something about moving in my neighborhood or just, I don't know, in nature or whatever it is. And it just really stimulates the best inspiration and thinking. And
Totally.
So many of my good ideas, Amy would tell you, like, I'll be like, I just got done with a walk and bam, this is what we're going to do. And it may not be a great idea, but I feel inspired by it.
Yeah. And there's something about, like if you can just walk, even if it's in silence or like a good song or like an audible book, it's like, I think life is so busy and so chaotic that like when you can step away and do something like walk and there's like trees and you can hear the wind blowing, like there's something like very healing about it.
Yeah. Sure.
Like even like, our 2-year-old sometimes like won't nap, right? My wife's like, okay, I've tried everything. You do it. I'm like, oh, stroller. And we just walk. I put on Strava, like, track my steps, make sure they count. Cause if you didn't record it, it doesn't count.
Correct.
And I just do like laps until she falls asleep. And sometimes she doesn't. I'm like, man, I just got like an hour to like, just do nothing. She's looking around. I'm just enjoying, through my neighborhood.
Yeah.
It's, you don't get much of that in your life as a parent.
Correct. So tell me about 3 kids, 4 kids.
4.
Okay. And plans for more or no?
No, we're maxed out. Our 2-year-old is not a great sleeper.
Okay.
And it's like, along the way, I'm like, okay, like this isn't too bad. 4th one, my wife's like, this is it. I can't, I'm going to be 40 this month. I'm like, I need sleep. It hurts way more now than, when we were 27 with a newborn. I'm like, 3 hours of sleep, no problem.
So how old are your kids?
So 11, 8, 5, and 2.
11, 8, 5, 2. Okay. So you guys were like 29 then when you had your first.
Yeah. Right.
Okay, cool.
Roughly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, it's so fun. My 11-year-old is a boy and then I have 3 girls.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
1 boy, 3 girls.
Yep.
So I've got 3 kids and I've got boy, girl, boy.
Nice.
So
yeah, it's so funny too, because their personalities, it's like you raise them the same way.
Yep.
Same house, same thing. Their personalities couldn't be further apart. But I already know out of my kids who is going to play what role in my business. So.
Oh, nice. Have any of them agreed to this yet?
No, it's not really their choice. They're like, college. I'm like, don't worry about that. We got you. No.
Yeah. Well, I joke with my kids all the time. I'm like, hey, who's taking over the family business?
Right. 100%. Employees are very hard to find.
Yeah. None of them are very interested. My daughter, I think, actually could do pretty well.
Yeah.
But we'll see. She has this aspiration to go to college, so
yeah.
We'll see.
I mean, that's kind of what you're like trained to think, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like that was the other good part about Idaho is it's so business friendly. And so I feel like even with our residents, like people who are renting houses with us, the amount of people that just are not W-2, that they're entrepreneurs is, I bet you it's more than 40%
of your clientele,
of our tenants and owners.
And I think if I'm doing the math right, you probably have about 700 combined. Is that right?
Yeah, probably about that.
So 40%, that's a huge number.
It's a huge number. Like people are like, hey,
like almost 300 people.
They're like, my income's a little bit complicated. I'm like, it's all right. That's very normal here.
We got you.
Yeah. Like we understand how this works.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Do you have aspirations to own rental property yourself?
Yeah. So we're looking at a few, to purchase pretty soon, as a company. So, we definitely want to if we're telling people that you should buy investment properties,
put your money where your mouth is.
And I had a rental, for a while. I ended up selling it because we bought a house that was a massive fixer upper and I needed the funds from that to move into the house. So I did. I was like, oh yeah, I had a rental for 4 months.
There you go.
But it worked out. We bought this great 1930s English Tudor.
This is the one here.
Yeah. The one here.
Yep.
And so, it needed a lot more work than what we thought. So we had to sell the rental, but luckily, we have a great clientele and I was like, I sent it out to a few people.
So you had a rental locally after you guys moved here?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Yep. So sent it out to a few clients like, hey, anybody interested in a rental with a tenant? And guy jumped on it immediately. Yes, I'll take it. Done.
Nice.
And so,
yeah, my favorite clients, and I've probably said this on this podcast before, but my favorite clients are investors that are self-employed.
Yep.
So we may have some good overlap with clientele, but
Totally.
Those are my favorite because they speak the language. It's more of a B2B transaction instead of a B2C, and they're much less likely to nickel and dime you just because they understand value, right?
Right. Value is important.
Yeah.
Like building the right team. It's like, I don't care if I'm saving $20 a month on this rental. Like I'd rather have the service and all that stuff. Yeah. And they have so much knowledge.
Yeah.
And those ones that are willing to share are like those priceless ones. Like I have a few clients that I talk to daily, not even about their rentals, not about anything. And they just kind of like give me like little tidbits here and there.
Yeah.
And it's been, like having people in my life like that. It's expanded my mind to so many different things. I can give feedback to other people who ask me questions that if you would ask me, 5 years ago, hey, what do you think about this? I probably wouldn't have had an opinion on it.
Yeah.
Now I can be like, hey, you should talk to this person, this person, this person, and do this, and it will work out really well.
Do you have many clients asking you for support in other markets?
Yes.
Boise's not a low cost market at this point. It's
Right.
actually, if you only invested here, it would take you a very long time to build a portfolio because it's pretty expensive.
Yeah. And that's sort of shifted, right? When we first moved here and first started the business, the interest rates were 4%.
Yeah.
The houses you can get in a new construction house in Meridian for $350,000.
When we moved here, you could get a 3x2 in Meridian for $250.
Right. Yeah. It's wild. And then now you're like, okay, but coming from Northern California, nothing cash flowed. It didn't. Your game was okay. Long term equity hold, right? And that was it. And that's sort of going that direction here to a certain extent. But there's so many investors coming from all over the place. That's not that uncommon,
Yeah.
And if you have the right tax people in place, they can kind of help you figure out what that like monthly cash flow isn't the biggest thing.
Sure. And it depends on your career too, right? If you need the cash flow for income, then obviously that's a different goal.
You have investor clients and accidental landlords, right? The people that had to move for a job or they bought at the peak and now it's not working for them. So they have to rent it because it's worth $50,000 less.
As opposed to short selling it, right?
Right. And people are like, oh, the market's down. I'm like, no, it's not down. It was just so overinflated.
Correct.
Like it went up 100% in 3 years.
Yeah.
And now we're at like 70% above where it was. So if you look at it on that, we're still doing great. It's just the market is shifting a little bit.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that shift. I was actually having a conversation with a colleague of mine. So the brokerage I'm part of is out of Texas.
Okay.
I think I'm the only Idaho mortgage broker that's part of that group. But this guy's out of Fort Worth. His name's Matt. Really cool dude. And I was talking to him. We were just shooting the breeze on Monday. I had a couple questions. And he's like, yeah, I've got this aggressive goal to acquire 4 to 5 rental properties a year over the next 5 years. And he's in Fort Worth, so he's looking in lower cost markets like Oklahoma and things like that. So he just picked up his first one recently, I think like last week or something like that, and has a goal to own like 25 and then get them paid off. And he's doing this math for me. And I'm like, this is genius. I don't want to be a mortgage broker forever. Why am I not executing this strategy yet? And so
Well, I think you kind of get like lost in your, you're doing all these, like you don't think about yourself in these situations, right? You're just trying to help other people with their stuff.
Yeah.
And you kind of like forget sometimes. You're like, oh, right, I could also do this.
Yeah, exactly.
We're lucky too because we are a franchise. And so it's small, like there's about 50 locations. So we kind of get the advantage to having like a big company. We can bounce ideas off each other. We meet weekly on a Zoom call to discuss like what's going on in local markets, what strategies have worked, what hasn't. But we're independently owned and operated. Yeah. So we kind of get the best of both worlds,
So if I wanted to buy a rental property in another market, you would be a good place to start because there's probably a key renter location in that market.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Cool. That's great.
Yeah. And we all are very close. We know the owners of each one, and it's a great franchise. Like they just let you do your thing and they're there for support. A lot of franchises, they want to be super involved. But we get to do what we want.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, great conversation about your company and I think investment properties and just owning real estate the right way, right? Using real estate, leveraging real estate to help you be successful in life, I think is obviously not rocket science. There's been many, many books written about that, right? And many podcasts and conversations spoken about how the power of owning real estate and why it's such a good idea. Yeah. Especially just from a diversification standpoint. So thanks for sharing that with us. I really, really appreciate it. Wife and 4 kiddos. Yep. You guys live in Idaho. You made a very intentional decision to leave California. Yep. Homeschool family, which is rad. What do you guys like to do other than working, right? Yeah. And homeschooling? What do you guys like to do with your time? Like depending on the seasons?
Yeah. I mean, we try to be outdoors as much as possible. Yeah. It's one of those things where we had that option in California, but being in a new place, there's so many, like everything is new. I mean, we've been here for 5 years now, but there's so many.
Still feel new?
It still feels like new and exciting. People ask, family, like, is this it? Like I'm like, well, we have a business here now. Like it's not as easy just to like pack up and go, Yeah. But yeah, we like to do music, hiking, our house we're on almost 2 acres. Yeah. And so landscaping has been kind of like a thing it's been fun. We had like the amount of trees and leaves that we have was out of control. And we just like let the kids go wild, like made piles of leaves that were like the size of this room.
Nice.
And they just like plow through it and make a huge mess. And we're like, oh, like whatever. Like, so I've also like just learned to like let go of the little things and like to let the kids be kids.
That's good.
You know?
I need to hear that.
It's
almost daily.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And my wife always says, like, I think I said it before, is like, if I was uptight, like how you are sometimes, homeschooling the kids, like I would go insane.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. My wife and I are both probably more on the control freak end of the spectrum, and which is probably why we're not homeschoolers.
Yeah.
And, you know, God bless her. I love my wife, and she works part-time, and it's a really good outlet for her. She's an incredible mom, and she does a lot for our family for sure. But that's if we said, hey, it's time for you to start homeschooling, like there'd be a lot of tears first, and then I'm sure would be willing. It would just depend on the situation, right? Like we have to do this. Okay, cool. Then we have to. But.
Yeah, I'm super grateful that my wife is like it's like yin and yang. Like she's like, it's fine. Everything's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
Like you know, even when I decided to go with the start the property management thing, it was pretty a terrifying moment. Like, hey, no income. All this stuff. And she's like, everything works out. Like everything that you do, like it's all going to work out.
Yeah.
If this house, if we have to downsize to something smaller to make it work, like we'll make it work. Don't worry about it. The stuff is not what's holding us together, Yeah. So it's awesome having somebody like that.
Cool. Before we wrap this up, family music night. So are you playing guitar or drums typically?
So I'm playing guitar now or bass, but because my son plays drums.
Which son? Your oldest.
Yeah, my oldest. Yeah. So my 11-year-old plays drums, and then my 8-year-old, she's starting to get into piano.
Okay.
And then my 5-year-old loves harmonica.
Nice.
And then my 2-year-old, she loves to like dance and just talk into the microphone.
Good.
So I'll just float around and play whatever is needed that night. And
does Brianna sing or play anything?
No, she has a good voice, but she like won't.
She just watches and
she'll like, I'll catch her like singing. I'm like, you got a good voice. She's like, no. I'm like, all right, well, we don't have a singer, so
she's just I'm just creating the content.
Yeah, just creating the content. So yeah, it's a blast. Like it's been so much fun. And I grew up in a band with my dad.
Oh, nice.
And so it's like one of those things where my wife is like, this is like your dream. I'm like, yeah, like this is.
Well, you're becoming your dad.
I'm becoming my dad, and so like, he passed away 4 years ago.
Oh man.
And it's just kind of one of those things where like the legacy of music, like became more important to me after that, like to like pass that on, like it's something that we always had. So it's great to see the kids into it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, hey, I think we should definitely plan a second episode. We can get much more tactical on, hey, if somebody wants to be a real estate investor, how do they get started? What would you recommend? So I think maybe we try to tackle that question or something topical like that next time.
Yeah.
But for today, you got an awesome story, super likable. Like I said, I mean, you make me laugh a bunch. So I like you. I think you're rad. The whole point of this is that others would know, like, and trust you, right? So if they don't know if they like you yet, and they certainly don't know if they trust you. Actually, maybe they think they like you, but they don't quite yet know you.
Yeah.
I'm rambling here, but anyway, the goal is that, right?
Yeah.
That we're trying to help people get introduced to you, that they would know, like, and trust you. And let's say somebody is interested. What's the best way for them to get in touch with you, Kyle?
Yeah, you can look us up online, keyrenterboise.com.
Okay.
Our numbers are on there, and you can reach out, ask questions. If you're already working with a realtor, that's awesome.
Yep.
We can help you find the right place and work with your realtor to show you comps like based on real time. And we try to make it super simple for you guys.
And we got connected on Instagram. Is that a good thing to?
Yeah, you reach out to me on Instagram. Instagram is KRB Leasing.
Okay.
We do some pretty funny content on there. My business partner is a great lip syncer, and man, it's entertaining for sure.
Yeah, I got to see that before this.
Yeah.
So, yeah. For the guests that might go look you up, go look for that video.
Yeah,
it's
KRB Leasing. Yep.
Diana Ross lip syncing.
It's amazing. He also just did one with, I think it's a really fast rap song where it's like one of the fastest rappers of all time. He does a lip sync to that, and it's hilarious.
Oh, dang. I'm gonna have to go find that one myself.
Yeah. And I'm gonna say too, like, this was awesome. Like, it's so natural. I even though we only met one time before this, I felt like that I've already like known you for a long time. So for other people looking to expand their horizon, like do a podcast, like you should go with this guy.
I love it, man. Well, thanks for that plug. We appreciate you giving us your time.
Yeah, for sure.
Obviously time's valuable. So thanks for sitting down here and sharing your story.
Thank you.
All right. Take care.